Well, our financial correspondent Uli Bartz is standing by in Frankfurt, and we've got Christian Bluth with us from the Bertelsmann Stiftung. Christian, starting with you, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
What do you think about all these numbers? We've had time for the dust to settle. Is the UK leaving the EU going to be all that bad?
I think the only answer to that is it depends. We have had a huge amount of calculations. There has been a lot of research, and basically the bottom line is if the EU, if Britain stays part of the European Economic Area, the impact will be bad, but not terribly bad. If, however, not such a favourable trade deal can be negotiated, then the outcome will be very bad for Britain and for the EU.
What makes you think the UK isn't in the position to get itself a favourable deal?
The most complicated issue is that if they wish to remain members of the European Economic Area, they will have to accept the free movement of labour. And since Brexit was strongly motivated by feelings about immigration, this will be difficult to secure.
OK, let's go over to Frankfurt and chat to Uli about this. What are the numbers you're getting, Uli, as far as things like investment goes in Britain?
Well, I don't have any concrete examples yet of how investment is, let's say, flowing out of Britain ahead of a Brexit. What Christian just said, it's still unclear what the end result will be. But there are reports, for example, that about 10 fintechs from London are thinking of moving to Berlin. They've made inquiries, and where there are inquiries, where there's smoke, there's fire. There could be moves this way. We're hearing from Frankfurt also that a lot of banks already have alternate offices here in Frankfurt ready to set up whenever the Brits think of leaving the EU, and that there are plenty more institutions thinking of it. But there are no hard numbers, and so far from industry, all we're hearing is, let's say, a little bit of saber rattling from people responsible there for the Airbus production. It has thousands of people there from BMW. All the Minis are made in Britain, or, for example, also from the local country head of Siemens, who are all saying detrimental effects if Britain leaves. But so far, we're not hearing that, employees are being moved anywhere or investment is already being cut.
Well, I think the key word there that you mentioned was thinking. These companies are thinking about a move because it would be a move that would cost the companies themselves quite a lot, wouldn't it?
It would, because, of course, you have your infrastructure there. You have trained people, trained exactly for the jobs at hand. And if you want to move investment out, if you want to move production out, that costs. It costs money settling the affairs in Britain and setting something up elsewhere with what promise of it being any better or costing less than the thing in Britain. And what I'd like to know from Christian is, the scenarios you say, economic area or no, but there will be a time, perhaps as many months, as many years as 2.5 years between the actual decision being made and now. What do you think of the effect that will be on Britain in the meantime?
Good question, Christian. Can you answer that?
And this might turn out to be a very substantial effect. You said that you don't have any evidence of investment decisions being reversed. Mm-hmm. But for those investment decisions that have not yet been made, uncertainty is a big issue. If a company is debating whether to invest into the UK or some part of continental Europe, they might now, just in light of the uncertainty, choose somewhere in the European Union.
Let me jump in with one thing, Uli, and you can answer this probably. Mm-hmm. The role that Brexit is playing in financial markets at the moment, because we saw huge volatility when the decision was made, but that ebbed away quite quickly.
That's right. The market crashed on the morning of Friday, the 24th, right after. But the DAX soon recovered. And, British shares have even risen since then because of the weak British pound. And right now, when I talk to traders, they say, well, it's news on Volkswagen, it's news on SAP, it's the certainty that there's less yields in bonds that are with a negative yield because of the ECB policy. What that means is that there are plenty of reasons to go into shares at the moment. So the Brexit at the moment is on a back burner. And some people even say the Brexit likely to be on a back burner until a time that it's more clear in what direction it goes.
Well, one more question, Christian, to you. If Brexit is on the back burner for traders and investors, I mean, sure, this is going to take a long time, but wouldn't they be just as worried right now today about this as they were on day one, straight after that vote?
Yes, certainly they are. But Brexit is going to be a slow and painful thing. I think the turmoil we have seen on Friday morning after the vote was just because financial markets didn't really expect this outcome of the vote. All other things that are going to happen are very structural, very slow, but it is very clear that Brexit will lead to the fact that the United Kingdom will never have the growth that it would have otherwise had.
Okay, Christian Bluth and Uli Bartz for us in Frankfurt. Thank you to both of you. A slow and painful process. I think both of you can agree on that. Thanks for coming in.
Yes.